Let's start. Hi, hello, everyone. Let's go. Isami. I'm just going to apologize up top. My internet might crash. I might lose my words. I might fall asleep. Who knows? It's going to be an interesting stream. But hey, it wouldn't be Doodle Crew if it wasn't just a little bit chaotic, and that's what I love. So tonight, because it seems appropriate for nighttime, which is when you have nightmares, we are going to be covering the amazing works of Mr. Don Bluth himself. So this was one when I was thinking up ideas for season 2. I was like, oh man, like I know he was very present. I'm going to say present. I don't want to say influential in my childhood art, but he was definitely a presence there. So I'd love to cover all things Don Bluth, talk about our connection to him. But just a quick rundown for anybody who is not familiar. You would know Don Bluth. So he did work for Disney for a while. He's worked a lot of different places, but he has a very specific style. So I'd say the movies and games attributed to him that you're probably going to know him by is An American Tail, All Dogs Go to Heaven, The Land Before Time, Anastasia, The Secret of Nim, Thumbelina, Rock-a-Doodle, Titan AE, A Troll in Central Park, Dragon's Lair, and then I'd say Pete's Dragon, and then he's got a few others where he did stuff here and there. But those are probably the big ones where you know. So now knowing that, going around, introduce yourselves and say which lovely Don Bluth piece you're going to be covering. Mayor Squish, I'm starting with you.
Yeah, so I'm Mayor Squish, and I'm going to be doing the Grand Duke of Owls from Rock-a-Doodle because I identify with him because his only goal was to try and keep the sun from going up, so I can identify with that. I'm good with some darkness, so.
Living that life right now. Yeah, I'm excited. I will admit, I don't think if I've seen Rock-a-Doodle, I have not seen it since I was a child. I don't remember that one. So
it is a very interesting movie. I did not finish it when I watched it today, but it is interesting.
If it's like any of his other ones, interesting is definitely the adjective that is the most appropriate. Yeah, so Joey, hi, welcome.
Hello, it's me.
It's a you.
So, probably the biggest Don Bluth film for me is Secret of Nim. I remember watching that with my sister a bunch of times when we were growing up. Land Before Time would probably be her pull, personally, but I like Secret of Nim. I'm also a big fan of American Tail, so I'm going to do a mashup with everybody's new favorite Most Precious Baby from Netflix, Arcane, and some Don Bluth animals in the vein of Secret of Nim and American Tail, which are slightly different. Like the mice in American Tail are a little more anthropomorphized. The mice and rats in Secret of Nim are a little closer to actual mice and rats. So we'll see how this works out.
Which is interesting to me. So looking up, just because I was curious about dates and when the stuff came out. So Secret of Nim came out in 92. American Tail came out in 86. I'm sorry, 82 and 86. I can read and talk.
Yep.
Those
so
are
I feel
numbers. Yeah. I feel like that's not that many years to have the style change so much, especially drawing the same type of animals. But yeah, I don't know. It's Secret of Nim really scared me. I was so terrified of Secret of Nim as a kid.
It's definitely got its moments. That spider in the...
Oh my god. Any of the birds, it doesn't matter. Throw a rock in any scene in that where I'm just like, this is not for children. But
yeah, I remember seeing the splash of blood in that movie. It was like my first time in an animated experience where there's blood, and I'm like, what's going on?
What is happening? What is happening? Yeah, I think these movies gave me so much more of a sense of menace than any other animated shows I watched or movies that I watched at the time. I was just like, no, like things might go really bad. Like characters will die and things will be bad in this. There's happy ending not guaranteed.
Yep.
Yeah. So Randall, welcome. Did you pick one with a happy ending?
Well, It depends. Which version of Anastasia are we talking about? Because the real life story does not get a happy ending.
No, I choose to live in fantasy La La Land of she and Dimitri lived happily ever after with his sexy Henley and everything is good.
Right, and there's just a sassy bat and everybody's having a good time.
I do love the sassy bat. I love bar talk.
Yes, so hello, I'm Randall. You can find me across the web at RW Art on Tumblr, and now I also have an art station, which I am trying to get up and running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to update
and then, yeah, it's been a journey. But yeah, so I'm going to be sketching some Anastasia today, and we'll see how it goes. I might get frustrated and decide to do a mouse later. We'll see.
Yeah, I had that moment where I was like, oh, okay, think of Don Bluth. I'm like, well, I got to do Anastasia. And I was like, no, you need to branch out. You need to do something else that is not the thing you always do. So yeah, I tried to branch a little bit. We'll see if I actually successfully branch. But yeah, I'm Swan. You're on my channel. If you want to see more things Doodle Crew, follow us at Doodle Crew Draw across the internet. You can also follow our link tree to see all of artist links and everything. And today I am going to be focusing on All Dogs Go to Heaven. So I drew a dog recently for one of our other episodes, and I'm feeling it because I don't draw dogs a lot. So I'm going to give it another shot. And this is one where I don't think I actually watched this movie many times, but I didn't need to because it was burned into my brain after a few viewings. So yeah. So I'm going to draw something happy. And I just recommend if anyone hasn't watched this movie, don't, but also don't read the Wikipedia thing because it's so dark. Or do. I mean, it's well animated. It's well done. It's just, they're so dark. They're so dark. But yeah. When I was curious, so I think it's interesting because I feel like Don Bluth is so known for Dragon's Lair, but I definitely didn't know that piece until much, much, much later. Like Dragon's Lair was just not something that was in the media that I was consuming. So I feel like also I want to know who was his like marketing and distribution person, because I feel like these movies were everywhere when we were growing up.
I had a moment earlier where I had to like actually look up what he did because there were so many that I just kind of was like, oh, that was probably Don Bluth, but it wasn't. Like Fern Gully, I was like, that was Don Bluth, right? No.
It has a very Don Bluth feel to it.
Yep.
Yep. I had the same. I was like, was that his? It feels like him. That's what that smog oil monster voiced by Tim Curry feels a lot like him.
Yeah.
I guess he's got a bunch of like director credits too. Like he worked in the industry for a really long time. He's definitely, been very prolific. It's funny to me because he is an artist where I specifically think of, I know this style when I see it. And while obviously Disney has a style, I feel like it is under the Disney umbrella, there is a style where this is very much, oh no, this is this person's individual animation style.
Absolutely.
Back to your other point, I think it was because really a lot of those films were coming out at like the heyday of VHS. So even if they didn't make it in the box office, a lot of times companies would recoup the money with VHS sales. So I know a lot of my exposure to the movies was VHS. Like I'd see the Disney movies in theaters with the family, but then these were the ones we had at home.
Yes.
We've got Disney at home.
It's not the same. No, that is the most perfect. No, we've got Disney at home. It's like
The Disney at home.
No, and I think it's funny because the VHS thing is perfect. Like I vividly remember seeing these on the shelves at the video stores, and they have these bright, beautiful covers. Like the covers and the box art looks really engaging. Like they look fun. They've got these super saturated colors. It's usually like fun animal characters doing a pose or doing something wacky or something fun. And I think it's just like whoever was in the marketing department was like, you cannot actually depict this movie on the cover. No children will ever watch it.
He had such like a rivalry with Disney too, that like it was the same time as like the puffy VHS Disney boxes, and the cover arts are like the same if you put them side by side.
Yup. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Oh, the puffy VHSs. It's such a thing. It's such a specific thing.
Oh, it is.
That's why I was curious when I was, considering doing prep for this episode, and then, eventually not, obviously. But, I was kind of like, all right, I'm going to poke around and see if any of these movies are streaming anywhere, because, I was like, oh, I'll just go to Disney Plus and watch that. Oh, I can't because they're not. So Anastasia is on Disney Plus. I found out that Titan AE is only, I think it's on Stars, but it might even be like you have to buy it on there.
I did get a haircut, Schnoods. I did. Cut it myself.
Ooh.
I got tired of all of this. So I chopped it off.
Yeah, so I think there is part of me, and I think if I had been feeling better, I would have delved into the research a bit more. But I was curious. I want to see if I can find interviews, either videos or transcripts of ones that they did, if people actually talked to Don Bluth. Like, I want to know the motivation, but I want to know like the history behind what specifically he wanted to focus.
Oh.
I would say there is not morbid, I can't think of words, but there are real consequences. Speaking of Land Before Time, like obviously they're dinosaurs, but like when I'm sorry, spoilers. When Littlefoot's mom dies, like it's gruesome, not visually gruesome, just emotionally gruesome. Like I feel like they didn't pull any punches for the intense scenes. So I want to know, like, so Don, talk to me about, would you set out to traumatize children, or was that just a fun byproduct? Like,
when you decided to murder Littlefoot's mom,
what were you thinking in that moment? Yeah.
Probably like, well, Disney just kind of told us that they were killing the parents. We're gonna show it.
Yeah, we're gonna make you really feel it.
Ariel's mom, you don't need to know about her. Littlefoot's mom. Now there's something.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Tell you what though, as I was thinking about American Tail, like one, catchy music from that movie. Like there are two very much standout songs for me, but I still to this day sing "There Are No Cats in America and the Streets Are Paved with Cheese" because I don't know why, but that's in my brain forever. But yeah, just like, oh no, it's this cute story about a mouse. Except for the fact that it's an allegory to real immigration and the struggles. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Little heart. So happy Thursday, Hebe. Hello, welcome.
Hi, Hebe.
Hello. Man, it is Thursday. This week is like
I can't.
over.
I
What the
can't
heck?
with this week. I can't with this month. I've decided I'm just gonna start fresh on February 1st and give it another go. Okay. Well, all right.
Like how I decided that I was going to start working on my portfolio and everything, like basically the first week of this month, and now it's like the last week of the month, and I'm just now getting everything where I want it to be.
Yep. Yeah, no, time is real sus right now. I don't love it. I don't love it. All right.
Oh.
Apparently, Hebe is also working on their portfolio, but it's a less wholesome portfolio. Can't imagine what you mean. Okay.
Nope. all the nope. Nope,
All the
nope,
nope.
nope. This is the
So-
downside of me trying to sketch completely from scratch on my stupid Wacom tablet. Like I just can't anymore without some kind of like base to draw on top of.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the place I was getting to before I upgraded to the draw right on the screen tablet. I was just like, I am so much slower sketching on my tablet like that than I am just drawing it and then scanning it or taking a picture and drawing from there.
Yeah.
How do you want to do this face? Not like that.
Maybe Sarah Will was onto something on all the episodes of Doodle Crew where she actually draws it in her sketchbook first.
That's just crazy. Oh, I was talking. Oh gosh, I can't even remember now what I was talking about. But I mentioned her the other day about something that she had done that was a lot of extra work, and someone was like, "That's insane. Why would you do that?" And I'm like, "Ha ha ha ha! Yes." Oh, it was the hot dog party where she was making all of the little hot dogs out of Starburst, and like, they sell them, and I was like, "Oh, I know, I know." But
They don't pay
she's Sarah. Yeah.
No. You're done. Bye.
Okay, so I have a question for the panel. One of my things that I always struggled with Don Bluth is I didn't find the animal characters as cute as the Disney ones, which I know is not saying anything revelatory, but like I don't know, there was just something, and I think because I'm focusing on All Dogs Go to Heaven specifically, like the littler dog, the dachshund, was really cute, but like the main dog in this is a German Shepherd, and he was always a little bit menacing to me. So he didn't have that, like, you're supposed to like him and he's supposed to be cuddly, but he just didn't feel cuddly. So I don't know, was that a feeling that you guys got watching these or seeing these designs, or was it something that didn't bother you?
I don't think it bothered me much, but it's definitely like it definitely has a different feel. Like they feel much more realistic, and I think that adds to the dark tone, right? Because they don't feel as cartoonish. Like Charlie, you can tell immediately is a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Like he's not the ambiguous cartoon dog.
Yeah, the very questionably what are you? What kind of mutt are you? I'm just dog.
So I think that adds to like the why it's a little bit more visceral, because it feels a little more real world altogether.
Okay.
So adding to my whole confusion of what things actually are Don Bluth, I was just looking up images, and there's a triple pack DVD that has An American Tail, Balto, An American Tail, Five Goes West.
Only one of
And I'm
those,
like,
I think.
Yeah, only, and even though it is Fievel from An American Tail, that one is not actually a Don Bluth film. It's just, under the umbrella of Steven Spielberg, because apparently he was the one who published An American Tail.
Oh, interesting.
Or so I would be led to believe from this DVD at Walmart that says Steven Spielberg presents An American Tail.
Oh, so maybe, Well, I'm curious about that.
Yeah, they worked together on that and Land Before Time, I think, and then split. And Don
I
Bluth
want to know who was
somewhere else.
responsible for making the next 14 Land Before Time movies.
You know, whoever wanted a buck at the time. Walked into the office and they're like, "Hey, I got a great idea. Kids like dinosaurs still, right?"
I hate that to this day I still know the full name of the family is Mouskowitz. I'm like, oh, let's look up some images. Fievel Mouskowitz, let's go. Why do I know that?
Because there are no cats in America. Yeah, no, it gets you. It gets you right in that brain and just sticks. Yeah, Kia in chat says Charlie felt more human than dog. Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, I didn't rewatch All Dogs Go to Heaven, but I did read up on it because I was like, I have memories of this, but I don't specifically remember it. And I was like, oh no, this is like a gangster movie plot that's real dark. That then they're just like, but make it with dogs, like mobster gangster dogs. It's fine. When dogs kill other dogs, like push them in front of a car, it's not nearly as traumatic as real people doing it. They didn't use guns. Like, okay. Okay, I think I need to move his head over a little bit. So Nicole, Mayor Squish, as our resident, one, not being alive when a bunch of these movies came out, but also not experiencing them in your childhood. What was your exposure to Don Bluth before this?
I mean, the thing is, like, I'm familiar with these movies. Like, I've heard of them. I haven't watched them. So, like, I mean, I think everyone knows Land Before Time. But I've obviously heard of American Tail as well. It's just not something that's really, like... I mean, I guess I can't speak to it because it was before my time, but I don't think it was as popular here.
That was honestly, I was curious about that because I would have been surprised if it wasn't over in the States. So
yeah, it's a little unclear. I'm not sure. But yeah, Land Before Time, I think, is just an international thing. I'm pretty sure. Because I think they were showing reruns when I was a kid. Or maybe it was just like the 15,000th movie. That could be too.
It just felt the same.
There was a TV series too, I think. And
that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if we talk box office success, and obviously this is a speculation because I don't have the goal to look up the numbers right now, but like I feel like Land Before Time was probably the biggest one. Like just the most money made, the biggest grossing. Like I think American Tail did really well. I think Land Before Time was bigger.
Oh, yeah.
And it's weird because I know Secret of Nim was popular in a certain sense, but I don't feel like it got the release popularity. I feel like Joey was saying earlier, it became a lot more popular once it was on VHS and you could rent it.
Yeah, I don't think it had like a great box office run. It was after it came out, it was like rediscovered. And of course, going back to Don Bluth, a lot of it was, his own doing, because he would release his stuff like up against Disney.
Yeah, like I mean,
there was like
cool,
good. There's two studios at the time, right? It's him and it's Disney making animation. All they have to do is do it like 3 months later, and they're like both profit.
Yeah,
he's like, nah, I'm gonna keep it.
I can do it. I can go up against them. Like, I mean, you can. You definitely can, but.
I mean, that's kind of an interesting point, though, because when you think back, Disney was really struggling when he was making like Secret of Nim and American Tail and like those late 80s movies, because that's when Disney hadn't quite hit their renaissance yet.
Yep. Yeah, so I wonder if his thinking was, I can, sneak in here while they're kind of faltering and...
Yeah. And then The Little Mermaid came out.
Yeah.
Blessed be.
We got wriggly lines tonight. Wriggly lines. Yeah, interesting too. I was thinking about this. Like, I remember obviously covering him and having him be talked about in college, but I definitely don't remember highlighting anything about his specific technique or studio practices, and like I feel like it was more of just, yep, he was around at this time too, and then we kind of moved on. I don't feel like we ever gave him a lot of specific time.
No.
Some unfortunate kid would be like, what about Don Bluth? And they'd be like, that's a cautionary tale in the animation world.
It's kind of interesting to think about, like, because I told my roommate earlier what the prompt was tonight, and he was just like, who? So I'm curious, like, do normies know who Don Bluth is? Because when you say Don Bluth to someone who's like studied animation or does art, like, you get it, but it's not as synonymous as just saying Walt Disney.
Right.
He doesn't have his own land or world.
I mean, he might, but I don't want to go there because it's definitely a basement. It's 100% a really dark, creepy basement.
You walk into the gates of the park and there's like children exiting in tears, just absolutely bawling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so Soapbox Clut says, I don't think the average normie knows his name, but does know the style. Yeah, and I think it was a thing that I always used to get obnoxious about is, like, once in a while, Anastasia would show up in, like, promotional Disney princess material, and I'd be like, she's not a Disney princess. Like, that was made by Fox. It wasn't even just made by him, but, like, it's not... does it matter? Is it an important distinction? Absolutely not, but it mattered to me. I was like, and I loved her, but she's not a Disney princess.
She is now.
It's true. It's true. Yes, I addendum to that. This was years ago when I was making this distinction.
Disney put an end to that.
Yep.
She's ours now. Well, also, like, and I know I've sent this to Randall before, but we'll say the archetypes of Don Bluth design, where you have like the heavy set jovial character from Anastasia has a mouse counterpart. Like, it's oddly, it's so strange to look at them side by side. I'm like, I mean, you are the same character, but one's human and one's a mouse, but you still managed to draw the face the same. I feel weird. I feel weird. Really, my sum up of my takeaway from all things Don Bluth. I feel weird.
Mom, I'm feeling things again. I'm feeling some sort of way about this strange giant bird that's playing a guitar. Why is his name Chanticleer?
Chanticleer. Got a real Elvis vibe to him, if I remember right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that like a mix film where it goes like live action to animation? The kid turns into a cat or something.
Yeah. It's weird because it's this like setting of kind of like Princess Bride of like, hey, this is the story of this. Don't you like the story, Jimmy or Johnny or whatever his name was? And he's like, yeah, and then all of a sudden he gets turned into a character in the actual story, and I was just confused.
Yep, that's fair.
Yeah, I tried watching it as an adult, and I'm like, I don't like this. Genuinely, I got bored, and I stopped watching. I'm like, I don't have the attention span for this nonsense anymore.
Interesting.
But you know me. I'm no frills. Like, if you're giving me some stupid little live action kid and then turning him into a cartoon, and there's like a rooster who's also Elvis, like, no, I'm done.
No,
this is not.
No.
Nope.
I could definitely remember there's like this big subplot about like a flood that's going to destroy the farm, but I don't think that played any role in like the animated portion of the movie, did it?
Oh my gosh. So I can't speak to that one because I've never watched it. And now I don't know if I'm going to rectify that.
It's wacky.
Yeah. It's giving me I'm having flashbacks to Cats Don't Dance, which is not him, but oh. Yeah. I mean, same Sergeant Schnoodles. So gave her Anastasia. I loved Anastasia. Oh, and apparently, so Hebe says the flood did play a role in the animated portion because all the farm animals got anthropomorphized and were going to get eaten by the owls as the floodwaters rose.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. All right.
And that's why Chanticleer had to bring the sun back, but he had to get his groove back first. Because he's a rooster.
Right. Oh, the sun. Okay. Yep, I'm getting it.
We're piecing this together. We're like a story team.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think it's kind of a funny thing because once again, we'll say like Secret of Nim, like I remember there being a big concern because like their home was going to get destroyed and it was like, farm equipment coming through. But I also remember being really afraid of the owls. Like I remember having all of these different elements that I was scared of, but I don't actually remember like what the motivation of the movie was other than fear. Like I remember being afraid. Was that the goal?
Yeah, if that's what you remember, then that's probably what they were going for.
So scary.
No.
Yeah.
No. Wrong.
Nope, that's not. Neither of those lines are what I wanted.
These wiggly lines tonight.
Yeah,
It's
seriously.
infectious.
Sorry. Yeah, I think it's funny because probably my favorites of the Don Bluth catalog are Anastasia and Titan AE. And I don't just know if that's because they were more human focused or I don't know. Just that one, they sat a lot better with me than the other ones.
I remember seeing Titan AE in the theater and thinking it was baller, and then finding out later in life that it was a box office failure makes me sad.
Yeah, I remember I watched the crap out of it. Like I definitely had it on. It wouldn't have been DVD. It must have been VHS. But I remember watching it a lot and really enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
good.
I was gonna say that was basically like his last big film too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was doing a ton with like CG and 2D integration because you had all the spaceships and everything, and all of like particle effects that were all done in 3D. So
I think it's one of those ones that the time when it came out, there was also the Iron Giant, which was like kind of similar. Like if you saw it just from a commercial, you'd be like, "Oh, that's the same thing."
Yeah. And objectively, Iron Giant is just a masterpiece. So.
I mean, it had Vin Diesel. So.
Well, and I realize the older I get, the more I identify with the crazy artist who lives in the garbage heap. Like, he doesn't live in the garbage heap. He has a house, but he creates art out of trash and is a little bit crazy. And I'm like, oh
yeah, I get it.
I get it now. I understand. Yes. So going back, Soapbox Clot says, Joey, this arcane reference, all the feels.
Hey, I thought, it would be a good mashup for the source material and the subject of tonight's broadcast.
Well, and I remember jumping back to Titan AE, it had, like, I remember specifically, I think it's Drew Barrymore, but it had a couple of, like, big name voice actors in it. Not voice actors, but actual actors doing voices. It also came out in 2000. Oh, my gosh. Oh, it's Matt Damon, Drew Barrymore, and Bill Pullman. Yeah, that would have been enough for me to go see it. So... Oh, and Jim Cummins, of course.
Because he's every voice.
Yeah.
You've seen something animated.
Oh my gosh. It's got Nathan Lane. It's got John Leguizamo. It's got Jeanine Garofalo.
What a cast.
Right? Like, this bonkers movie. Well, and something I'm curious, because again, once I'm feeling better, I'm absolutely going fully down the rabbit hole of this. Is I didn't realize, but looking up Don Bluth and learning more, he got his degrees from Brigham Young University. So I'm curious because I always felt like there was, again, a very specific message in a lot of these movies, and I'm curious how much of his personal upbringing and feelings were put into the movies. Like I want to know more.
Once you start down the Don Bluth rabbit hole, there's no going back.
No, there's definitely no going back.
It changes you.
Maybe I'll get into my dark and brooding artist period then. I don't think I don't. That's probably not going to happen. If it hasn't happened yet, I don't think it's going to.
There's always tomorrow. Yo, what if they all wore these striped pirate pants though? That's going to be our fashion choice for Zone. Oh man. Yeah, once it's on a computer, it's there. We don't have to worry about drawing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just indicate it. Tap it in.
Randall, I'm loving this face that's happening.
This is me giving up on life. And just being like, F you, Anastasia. I mean, rest in peace, but...
Yeah. I remember being, like, fairly disappointed when I learned that, and it sounds so stupid, like, I learned that cartoon was not factually accurate, but,
What?
it just was one of those where I'm like, oh, but that was such a nice story. Minus the really weird Rasputin stuff. I mean, his songs are so... That movie, by far, I think, has my favorite music. Like, all of those songs are so catchy.
Oh, yeah.
Hebe says it has Big Quinn from Daria energy.
Yeah, I can see that.
When's the MTV Tunes episode coming, Swan?
We can. I'll say if y'all want to help me, because I will be very in the dark about that one, because I was not allowed to watch a lot of those growing up. So yeah, we can do a MTV.
I remember my family being like super against all of that, and then Beavis and Butthead came to like HBO, and they watched it and they loved it. Like Beavis and Butthead Do America, and they were like, "This is great." It's like, yeah, it's real funny.
Yep.
That's what I've been telling you.
Yeah, I think I remember my dad watching a little bit of Beavis and Butthead, but I think he was watching it at the firehouse. It was definitely not something we had at home.
Right.
So, yeah. I remember being very vaguely aware of Daria, but not up on it. I think until college was when I really started to actually like be made more aware of it. Oh, so Kia, I know I had some friends who went to see the Anastasia musical, and I've seen parts of it, and it looked really cool. But I don't know that I specifically knew they took out Rasputin. Interesting. I just love that his song in the movie has this like bouncy little hoppy thing and funny, and then all of a sudden, like halfway through the song, it just turns into this like power ballad, and you're just like, oh dang, like, all right. Yeah.
No.
If we're talking ones that I still will happily watch, I will always happily watch Anastasia. I genuinely enjoy that one. I'm going to admit, though, I do think a part of that is because John Cusack does one of the voices, and I have a soft spot for him, so. Oh. The villain is the Bolsheviks. Oh. Yeah. So my whole goal was to make the dog a lot cuter. I don't know if I have succeeded. I'm not feeling real confident about my dog energy tonight. I'm also realizing as I'm looking at reference images of that, like the dog had a lot of teeth. And I specifically remember like the alligator in the sewer too, like really, really accurate teeth was a part of it. I'm like, did we need that though? Like,
right? You don't have like the regular Disney just flat teeth. They're like these vicious canine teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like there's part of me that I'm pretty sure I was a little bit afraid of Charlie. Like he's the main character. You're supposed to root for him and his journey. And I'm like, but he's scary.
He had some edge to him.
He did. Which I will admit, as a young child, I had no edge and was unprepared. I could not handle the edginess of it. Almost Go to Heaven was too edgy for me. Oh, God.
I just like the villain was named Carface. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, I had a very like specific relationship with mobster gang guys who had like big stogies and stuff and like, you know, vests. And I was like, no, this is the aesthetic. All of them will be dressed like this in everything ever. This is the only way I will accept this.
You're not a gangster. You're not smoking an oversized cigar.
Yeah.
You can't fool me.
Welcome. What up, SDF Network? Tonight, we are focusing on all things Don Bluth. So we have some Rockadoodle, we have some Secret of Nim, we have some Anastasia, we have some All Dogs Go to Heaven. Yeah. And we're talking about how much they scared us. Mostly me.
No, this is getting a vector line. 100 P for pen tool in this.
Excuse me. All right, let's bring in this reference image. I will say though, just because I keep coming back to this, as I was looking up reference images and everything, like there's a scene where they all eat pizza, and gosh darn it, if that didn't look like the most delicious pizza. Like it was super like drippy cheesy, and I'm like, well, that looks amazing. I will take some of that, please.
It's funny the things that you notice as an adult watching these things. You're like, wow, they drew that pizza really well. Look at that.
It's A+ on that pizza.
People working on it. I told you, Frank. I told you people would still be talking about it.
That pizza was someone's magnum opus.
It definitely was.
Like they drew it, they put the pen down, and they just faded away from the art desk.
I've done all I can do. Goodbye. Oh God.
Hung their watch up on their light stand and ascended.
Yeah, SDF Network says Secret of Nim was scary, but still one of my all-time faves. Yeah, I think that's kind of been a funny realization maybe for all of us tonight, or determination, where we're like, oh no, it was terrifying. Still really enjoyed it though. Watched it a whole bunch. And yes, Sergeant Schnoodles, the Goofy movies, the way that they depicted pizza, like give it. I have never enjoyed Cheese Whiz But boy, did I want Cheese Whiz because it's the Leaning Tower of Jesus. I was like, that looks amazing. Yeah, I think the only thing that has ever rivaled that for me is like Studio Ghibli food. Like that food always looks incredible. But there's not many other things where I'm just like, oh, that looks really good. Where I'm just like, no, I need to eat that.
They just walk into the studio and they're like, I don't care how the rest of this looks. You better get the rice balls right. They are not getting dubbed in as jelly donuts.
It's not even dough. What are you doing? Really, her color? Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, no.
Oh my goodness.
So I think, Emily, you were the one who sent me that one TikTok. Probably, because you send me all the TikToks.
Most likely, yes.
Of the guy saying that he just has nonstop brain fart ever since getting COVID.
Yep.
That's me right now. And I'm like, how do hat work? What? How?
Piggy dipping.
Yep.
Piggy dipping in the pig pen. Yeah, that's just my brain. My brain is absolute garbage now. It's really frustrating. Yeah. Soapbox class, Leaning Tower of Cheese. It just punched my soul from my body and I rocketed back through time. Yeah. Speaking of TikTok, for a while I was getting a lot of and I couldn't tell you the gentleman's name, but he dressed up as Powerline and he was doing the dance from the Goofy movie, and I was here like eye to eye. I was here for all of it. Just like, yes, give me more. Give me more. This is a bop. I love this song. And yes, the feast scene in Spirited Away, I want all of it. Yeah, I am definitely no face, and I was just like, what will I eat until I make myself sick and then make a mess everywhere? Yes, I will. Yeah, Goofy movie holds up. That one's still very solid.
It's really strange because it's Goofy. Like, you wouldn't think some random 90s Goofy movie would be what it was.
No, and Goofy was never a favorite of mine. Like,
no,
I didn't care about Goofy, so that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, it's perspective.
Oh.
Hey, welcome Pokemon Go podcast. Welcome Raiders. Thank you. From the Helicarrier says Goofy is the rock god of Disney. I support it. He was never a favorite of mine. Goofy was not my jam. Oh, SDF Network. Girls and I love watching Ghibli films together. One of our favorite things to do. Heck yeah. Yeah. I love them. Yeah, for some reason, sometimes, I don't want to say nonsense because it's not nonsense, but the craziness and the things I don't understand about Ghibli movies isn't as, I don't want to say off-putting, that's not the right word, but like Rockadoodle is just too weird. I can't hang with that. But Ghibli's like, what? This insane thing? And I'm like, all right, I'm with you. Let's see where this goes. The pig is a pilot? Okay. Sure. I'm in. I'm game.
And all those films and their airplanes and dirigibles and
Moving
Miyazaki.
castles.
Miyazaki just having a moment with his flying contraptions.
Piloting in the piggy pond. Yep.
Save your work, because I only just now did.
Yay! Thank you. That's the best sound. Okay, what color is this? I understand how dog work. How dog go?
Woof woof.
That dog says, bark.
Not in this movie. The dog says, "Hey, let's shoot craps." And you're like, "What?"
Let's get drunk in the first 10 minutes of the film and get killed by the mob boss by hitting me with a car.
Yay! Oh.
I mean, I guess at least they didn't like have them smoke cigars and turn into donkeys.
Yeah, that was equally as terrifying. Tell you what though, like I don't specifically remember the intro to the movie. What is burned into my brain is the interaction with the alligator in the sewer, and like they're floating and there's pink bubbles, and I think even as a kid I was like, is this drugs? Is this what drugs feels like? Because this is insane. I don't understand anything that's happening right now. My soul just left my body. Oh, so SDF Network would like to know who were our Disney jams. If Goofy wasn't.
I mean, the Little Mermaid was very formative for me. We'll just say that.
But Daddy, I love him. I'm 16.
You don't understand, Dad.
The realization when you move from being Ariel to being her dad, you're just like, oh, there, look at it swim away. There goes my youth. Oh, yeah. I also had a big thing for that dad. I was like, oh, hello. Yeah, mine was Aladdin. That was one of my favorite movies, and then it was multiple movies, and then it was a TV show. I was all about that Aladdin life. Yeah, that was probably I was big time into the princesses. I didn't, apparently it's a theme, whether it was Don Bluth or Disney, I did not attach to the animal characters that much. I wanted to draw humans. I wanted to watch humans.
So no joke, the year that Aladdin came out on VHS, I watched it every night of summer vacation. I wore the VHS tape out before the end of summer.
Yes. Oh God.
So yeah, that was definitely a jam. I think the first, I remember seeing Roger Rabbit in theaters when that came out, and that was amazing. Like that blew my mind. But as far as like those early characters that like I jammed with from TV, maybe Darkwing Duck and DuckTales, I think were right there at a sort of equal level for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember watching them like every day after school, and like Darkwing was the shit. I love that. I've been thinking about rewatching them, but I'm scared. Like now that I'm an adult and going back and watching it, because it was like so cool when I was a kid, and I'd go back now and be like, this is dumb.
Yeah. I was like, does it hold up? I need it to hold up. I need it to. Oh gosh, SDF Network says the Aladdin video game was awesome. All I remember is trying to play the Lion King Game Boy game and getting so frustrated because it was so hard. That Game Boy game was so hard. Oh my gosh. Just like, why? I know I'm not good, but why?
Oh, Rescue Rangers too.
Oh
Dude,
yeah.
I love that show.
Okay, well, I forgot her sketches. I feel like it was either we didn't have cable at the time, or I just had a very limited amount of time that I could watch TV. Like, I more specifically remember watching movies than I do watching any of the Disney shows. Which were they on? They were just on the Disney Channel at that point, right? Is that what they were saying? Because I feel like we didn't have the Disney Channel. But I definitely
I
remember all
want to
the movies.
say, like, some of them were on ABC. Like,
Okay.
when Disney bought up ABC and they would show, like, the Whitney Houston Cinderella movie and, like, those sorts of things. Recess.
Mm-hmm.
All the Saturday morning cartoons.
Which, legit, I just rewatched the Whitney Houston Cinderella. It's bonkers. Like, I did not remember how wacky that movie is. Yeah, it's bananas. Oh, whole SDF Network coming in with the challenging questions. If you could pick any movie to have worked on as an animator, what would it be?
That's a good question.
That's a really good question.
And it's an
Oh.
easy answer for me.
All right, well then you have to go first.
I don't animate. So I would not work on any of them.
Okay, so we'll extend it to if you could have been a part of the production.
Yes.
I was going to say, if I was going to be on it, I would probably have been storyboards and character design, because I was not that good of an animator.
Yeah.
Man, do you want to be there at the beginning and be like on the Snow White team and working with that?
Nope, I wouldn't want to be there. I would definitely want. Oh, I just dropped my pen. I don't know where it went. There it is. For me, I would definitely want to be in the renaissance of 2D animation. That's where I would want to work and live. Definitely for that part. I'm just trying to figure out which one. No, you know what? This is how you can tell it's me as an adult and not me as a young kid. I would have wanted to be a part of The Emperor's New Groove, which started as the Kingdom of the Sun, which had a whole score composed by Sting, and then after like a year of production gets completely changed, goes through crazy revisions, and turns into whatever they were going to do. It's not that anymore, and they make a whole new amazing movie. Like, I feel like it would have been insane to be a part of that production group, which I think they didn't even, I don't know if they kept the same group on for the second half. I don't know, but yeah, I feel like that would have been quite the adventure.
That's a good one.
Ooh, and all right, I'm sorry. I'm having feels on this one. Not what I would expect, but I think because it fits my brain a lot more. I would have really liked to have been a part of the Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Like, And I think that one hurts a little bit more because I was a working professional at the time. Had I been any good at animation or been out in California and working for Sony, I could have done it, but I wasn't that good. So, yeah, I think that would have been really, really cool because I adore that movie. I love what they did with the art. I love so much about it. So,
Oh, Big Hero 6 would have been a fun one to work on too.
oh yeah. I love that movie so much. I rewatched that one recently too.
I should.
I think I would have liked to have been in the studio for Hunchback of Notre Dame. Just be like, even if I was just a fly on a wall, just to see people be like, we're not really going to do this, right?
Oh, or Pocahontas. Could you imagine?
So the funny thing about Pocahontas, and it's not funny, haha, but when I went to Disney as a child, I think I was 8, and it was when Florida Disney still had animation studio there. And so one of the tours that you could take is you would kind of walk along this whole like upper catwalk stuff and look down into the animators pool where they were working on Pocahontas. And apparently, it's shocking to no one, like my family and I went on this tour and they're like, okay, you ready to go to the next thing? And I'm just like sitting on the ground with crested flash. I'm like, no, I'm good. They're like,
I'm good.
You want to ride rides or do anything? And I'm just watching someone, flip back and forth and animate Pocahontas. I'm like, honestly, I'm set. You can just leave me here, get me at the end of the day. I'm really good. I think visually Hercules would have been a lot of fun to work on.
Oh yeah.
Because I just loved how colorful that was. I love the style. I love the play that they had with Greek mythology. Man, now you just got now my brain's just going. I'm just like, oh man, what would I? Because it's funny. I feel like with the Disney Renaissance and everything, and like we were talking about, so much of influential Disney and monumental Disney happened either before I was born or when I was not an adult yet. So the idea of being born 20 years earlier and having a different opportunity to work for a studio like Disney is an interesting thought experiment. As opposed to the the Disney that Randall and I got when we graduated from college. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Is it? How many meltdowns have I had this month alone going back through my art from the past decade? Not to mention hyperventilating at the thought that I might have to try and procure a transcript of my time at the Art Institute, and I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore. Yup.
I wonder.
International does.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I mean, there are still art institutes open around the country, right? Like,
So.
Is there a big art institute database? Yeah. Gosh, I hadn't even the thought of having to try and get a transcript. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because when I was looking at different things and job listings, one of them said that you needed to provide a transcript. I'm like, do I? When I tell you my story, will you take pity and not make me do that?
But also, again, I feel like you've been a working professional for 13 years. That's more valuable than, your transcript from the early aughts. Oh, Kia brings up a good point. Choose a movie about a location you really want to visit because they send artists for those reference trips. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. I could have happily gone on some Moana trips to Hawaii. I would have been all right with that.
And you would have gotten to meet The Rock.
Right? Very cool. Very happy about that.
That would have been a fun one.
Yeah, I think and again, this is I'm going to straight up play the don't meet your heroes. So I don't actually know what he's like as a human, but I idolize him. I think it would have been very cool to work for Disney specifically at the time when Glenn Keane was there. Because
Yeah.
that's the style that just elated me as a child and has continued to delight me. Yeah. But also, as we were talking about it, I know we kind of defaulted to Disney specifically. Like, I would have also lost my brain to be a part of either the Batman the Animated Series or even especially Batman Beyond. Like, if I could have been on that television crew, like, dang, or even like Justice League and JLU. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. As I'm saying all these things, it's so weird that I ended up going into making comics. It's so strange that that's where my journey took me. Yes, to run down for Ace Tigress, I am doing All Dogs Go to Heaven. Mayor Squish is doing Rockadoodle. Joey's doing a mashup between Arcane and Secret of Nim, and Randall is doing an adorable Anastasia. Sacrifice.
She's over it. It's like, F you, Dimitri. I don't need you.
Men are such babies. Nope. Oh, just not even pretending to draw on the right layer.
Do we need to log it? How many times has Emily drawn on the wrong layer?
Oh gosh, I think we're into the 20s now. Here, let's see. I'll do it. 21. Yeah.
Blackjack.
Yeah. So SDF Network, you are in good company because I have not watched it either. I think Mayor Squish said she made it 3/4 of the way through.
Something like that. It just got really weird, and I was like, I really don't need to see the whole movie to draw this one character.
Yeah, I feel like so I'm trying to figure out how I want to explain this in words because words are really hard. I feel like for Disney movies, especially Disney movies at this time and around this time frame when Don Bluth movies were really popular, Disney movies had a very cohesive flow from the beginning of the movie to the end. And while it had different segments and they had highs and lows, it all kind of felt very connected. I feel like Don Bluth movies had much more segmented chunks. Like in American Tail, like I remember when they are like on the boat and traveling, and then when they get to the place they're at, like that's a whole different, like it feels so different. And then when they're separated, like that's a whole different thing. So, you know, and All Dogs Go to Heaven, like you have this intro bit where you're setting up this whole casino boat gambling thing, and then you have heaven, and then you have coming back, and then you have the sewer, and you're just like, but the kid's also getting adopted, and you're just like, there's so much going on that doesn't all relate together.
Yeah.
My brain.
I guess The Lion King kind of does that.
That's true.
When Simba runs off.
Elephant Graveyard.
run away and never come back.
Seriously, such good voice acting, though.
Speaking of, wasn't Rasputin voiced by Christopher Lloyd and Anastasia?
I think so, yes. I'm pretty sure. I think he sang it, too. Oh,
Great shot.
first people ask is Anastasia based on a true story? Yes, we have Meg Ryan as Anastasia, John Cusack as Dimitri, Christopher Lloyd as Rasputin, Kelsey Grammer as Vladimir, Hank Azaria as Bartok, Bernadette Peters as Sophie, Kirsten Dunst as young Anastasia, Angela Lansbury is the Dowager Empress Marie.
I forgot about that.
And hey, guess what? Jim Cummins is in that one too.
Hey,
Okay. Oh, that's funny. Jim Cummins is the singing voice of Rasputin. Christopher Lloyd is the speaking voice. So interesting. SDF Network says the Rockadoodle character looks so much like Dragon from Secret of Nim. It's like his bird cousin. Yeah, when you were showing me that character, Mayor Squish, I was like, is that the one from Secret of Nim? But it's just because my brain is garbage. And like we've said, I feel like there's some of these details that are kind of just hidden behind a paywall, but it's more behind like, no, my brain locked those away because it was like, let's not do this again.
I will also say that there's basically no good references of this character. Like, everything's really low quality and low resolution, so it's entirely possible that I just inadvertently came up with a cousin to that character.
So to your point, I ran into the same thing. Like, I was like, oh, it's All Dogs Go to Heaven. There's definitely going to be like tons and tons of images. And I was like, wow, there's really not as many as I was expecting. Okay. Yeah, it was a surprise to me.
These old films that the kids nowadays don't care about. Not going to put them up on their whatever they do with their time. Their TikToks.
Their TikToks.
Because it's like nobody really makes websites anymore. I feel like when we were growing up, like everybody dabbled in it at least a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like because of the nature of social media and traction, everybody defaults to a specific social media platform because that's where you're going to get the most views.
Right.
And there's not like fan sites are created within those. Like if you're going to have a fan site for, Rockadoodle, it's going to be a Facebook group rather than a specific website. That's just a collection of images.
Yep.
Which, what a weird evolution of the internet. I loved it. I spoke on a panel recently and someone in chat had asked about Discord. And, my response was like, well, it is the nicest like online chat room I've ever been a part of. Like, it's got all the vibes of like old school chat rooms, but I would say because it's kind of, a lot of them are invite only. I don't know. It's not as creepy, maybe, or maybe I'm just lucky and I'm in good ones. But like the super secret in addition Discord.
It's like I feel like a dinosaur now. Whenever somebody asks if I have Snapchat, and I never got Snapchat back when that was like the big thing.
Yeah.
And what shocks me is people still use it.
Yeah.
Like on dating apps and stuff, they'll be like, do you have Snapchat? And I'm like, no. Why do you have Snapchat?
Follow-up question.
And then I'm like, oh, you're under 30. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I still have a few friends who use it, but I've gotten cranky with it now because it's demanding that it connects to all my contacts. And I'm like, no. And it's like, but I'm going to ask you every time you start up this program to connect your contacts. I'm like, well, I might just delete you. So, because I've told you no, and I've set my settings to no, but you still ask and it bothers me. No means no, Snapchat.
Yeah, and I've just gotten to the point that I'm like, I'm connected with the people that I want to talk to in so many other ways. Like, if it's not through texting, it's through Facebook Messenger or Instagram or Discord, you know?
Yeah. And I definitely run into the connectivity fatigue where I'm just like, let's see, you could message me through Twitter, you can message me through Instagram, you could find me on Facebook or my artist page, you could talk to me through Discord, you could talk to me through Messenger. I'm like, I can't I can't have another one. I don't check them all enough. So Hebe, I misread your message because I read it too quickly. And I read it as people still use it because they got rid of feels, which is not what you said. And I was like, oh, they got rid of their feels? I mean, accurate, but...
Wait, what did they get rid of, though?
Fleets.
Oh.
I don't know what fleets are.
Fleets was a thing. I remember.
Was that the Twitter thing?
That.
This is now the second time Hebe's been in chat and mentioned a thing, or I'm like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what you're saying.
I'm old.
I am old. Hello, Loot Risk. You are here and home. Oh, they were like Instagram stories, but on Twitter. Okay. Good call, Mayor Squish. See, this is why I keep up with the youths.
The Utes.
The youths.
Yes, I'm 100% hip with the youths.
Yeah, I remember that was like the big thing is like people would use Snapchat basically to like send people their stories, but then Instagram and Facebook started doing it. So it's like you're not the thing anymore.
Yeah. It felt like the people that I was connecting with it were people who didn't want to be on Facebook a ton. That seemed to be the big... If I was going to connect with people on Snapchat, it was going to be people who weren't messaging me through Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep. Oh, nice. Well, hello and welcome. We did say Utes. Oh, yeah. I'm leaning in, though. I've never been an old soul, but I'm getting there now. I think we're just going to start. Oh, but Soapbox Clouds, I feel like your snaps would be really good. I would enjoy them. Yeah, I think like because Mayor Squish is one of the few people I do talk to on Snapchat, and it's usually like we'll send little snippets of like the art we're working on, or mine's usually now it's the cat being cute. And I give them credit because it is probably the fastest and easiest way to send not low resolution, but low file size videos. So that's really, really nice. Like if I actually want to send like because there's been times where I'm like, hey, I want to explain this story to you, but I don't want to type it all out. So I will just video myself saying the story and then send that. But yeah, even that is relatively rare. I will admit to being absolutely okay boomer when I very first got on Snapchat and didn't totally understand that you could set it to not have the messages disappear right away. I was getting really frustrated because I didn't change that setting yet. And I'd be talking with someone and a couple hours would go by and they'd reference something they said earlier. I'm like, I have no idea because it disappeared and I don't remember. Like you're asking so much of my memory and I don't have it. I don't have it, guys. Don't make me do this, please. I can't. I'm too old.
I just had a conversation this week about how I'm aging out of the certain demographic that they're marketing video games to now.
Oh.
Like anytime I see a game coming out that's like, ooh, look at this cute game that came out of Japan. Let's see what it's about. And then it starts up and it's like, blah, 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 students at such and such academy. I'm like, no school. I'm done. I am not a high school kid. I cannot relate. The only one that I'm okay with is Persona because they've been doing it forever.
Also, I feel like, is he? Oh, I guess he is a student, but like when you're first getting into it, like he's living somewhere and working, and I feel like the academy is not the main focus in a sense. Like they've got a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah, there's just like certain games now that I'm like, no. I do not need to sit through classes and take exams and
No, it's a no from me.
no.
What was it? The first one was Horizon Zero Dawn, but they're coming out with the
Forbidden West.
Yeah, I was watching teaser like playthrough of stuff. It's so pretty.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I own the fun. I will not put the time into it because it requires paying attention and focus, and I have not been able to do either of those, but it's so pretty. And I love the design. Yeah. But I also feel like, especially, and this is not just age, but also where my brain has been at for the past couple of years. Like, I spent a whole bunch of time recently playing the new Pokemon Snap, where I'm just like, what? Casually stroll through this atmosphere and take pictures of Pokemon being cute? Well, that just sounds lovely. Let's do that. That's very not stressful. I like this. What? Spend 600 hours in Animal Crossing designing and redesigning my island? Okay. Okay.
With super chill music.
Oh my gosh. So, this is terrible. Now, can you find this song on YouTube? You sure can. But what do I like to do is go into the little shop when it's getting towards closing time, because that's my all-time favorite Animal Crossing song. And if you sit down on the ground, which is in the actions you can get, the reactions, they can't kick you out of the store when it closes. And I'll just sit there on the ground while the beautiful closing music plays. And little Timmy and Tommy are like, ma'am, it's after 10. Can we please go home? It will be open tomorrow. And I'm like, no, I'm going to sit and listen.
You're one of those people now that's banging on the doors to get into the bookstore at like 9 a.m.
Let me in.
Except the opposite of like, no, I'm not leaving.
Yeah. Well, and it's the now it's the whenever we have customers come into the winery and it's like 4:30 and technically we close at 5 and they're just like, no, we'll be super quick. And I'm like, but will you? Will you be done drinking by 5? I don't think you will. I don't believe you. Oh, also, because I told you I would give you the warning, we are at the 25-minute warning.
Okay.
Hebe says, Randall, why you give me PTSD like that? We clock in at 8:45 and be doing opening stuff, not open until 9:30, but the owner would be like, let people in at 9. Hebe says, no, Kristen, make them wait. Yeah, it's really tough because we have the same thing where the winery doesn't technically open until 10, but all of us are there at 9 because there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen in the morning. But because we have the outside deck, if it's nice, like people will start wandering around. So normally, like, you're opening up the doors and you're trying to get things set, and you're like, you can't be here. We're not. Well, our appointment's at 10, and I'm like, and I promise you, at 10 a.m. you can start drinking, but until that moment, I need you to not be where you are right now, please and thank you. I promise I will give you booze. I promise. But I need you to go away right now.
Also, I love that that's the world we live in now, where it's like, I need to drink at 10 a.m. You don't understand.
It is happy hour somewhere. Yeah. Tell you what though, it's funny to me the people who get there so early and are so ready to go and already are like not drunk, but that kind of like drunk intensity that they get where I'm like, ma'am, it is 10:30 in the morning. What were you doing for the 2 hours before this? Like, I have only been awake for 3 hours. People are crazy.
I'm people.
Yes, but when we went wine touring, it was at a very respectable hour.
That's very true.
There's none of that 9 a.m. baloney. Uh-oh. I'm having the thing where I don't know if I like it or not. Like, the original piece that I was referencing has so much, like, action and movement, and I don't know. Like, I think I made them cuter, but I don't know. I think I pulled away some of their movement.
You lost the energy.
I did. Let's see. Nope, don't do that. Oh my goodness. So some of these reference pictures of German Shepherds are of German Shepherd puppies, and they're so stinking cute. It's just, they're so cute.
No.
That's right, kids. The word of the night is no. You had no on your Doodle Crew bingo card. Mark it off now. Mark it off several times.
Yeah, we need to make that. It's just drawing Thumbelina and leaned in. Damn it.
But the challenge.
Yeah.
Thumbelina is one that I've not watched in a very long time.
I'm very curious how that one holds up. I remember there being a really, once again, like, she gets kidnapped and she's like forced to perform for the guy she's betrothed to, and there's a really creepy dance she has to do where she's dressed up like one of the bugs, and like I remember it being weird, but
I feel like it was also another one of those ones that came out at the same time as a rival studio that had something similar. Like, I think the Swan Princess came out around that same time.
Yeah. So that one I actually really like.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Swan Princess came out in 94. Who made it?
Good question. Was it like Fox or something? No.
It was produced by a former Disney employee. Was not actually a Disney movie. Well, tell me more. No. Stop. You know what, Screen Rant? It's not that important. I'll use a different thing. Fine. Based on starring. Oh, it was production companies Nest Entertainment and Rich Animation Studios, and it was distributed by New Line Cinema, Columbia TriStar Film Distributors International. Interesting. All right, so then Thumbelina. Hey, Randall, you were exactly right. Thumbelina came out in 94 as well.
Okay.
Damn.
I just remember my neighbor, she had both of them on VHS, and it was like, aren't they the same thing though? Like,
yeah. Can we just take a moment though that like bring this into my thing. Like, this is the design. This is a screenshot from that movie. Like,
oh yeah.
That face is at, oh dear, what is happening with her eyes here? Oh. Kia says everyone is bad touch to poor Thumbelina. Like, that's what I remember. Like, I remember she just has a really tough go of it.
Wait, you mean Don Bluth made another story that made you feel very bad for what was happening?
Specifically to the female protagonist? Weird.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so weird. Yeah. I'm sensing a theme here, Donnie boy. All right, so okay. All right, I'm going to go for some quick redemption for the new reference image and try and get a little bit more movement back in my piece. I also think the theme of tonight is we all should have followed Joey's lead and Mayor Squish's lead and sketched our shit beforehand.
Yeah, I came into this one like I was ready to go.
Yeah.
It's like,
Let's
On
also
me
be
out.
I have something ambitious in mind. I'm gonna be ready to go.
For mine was definitely no. I did research. How hard could it be? No. The answer is that was dumb. Oh, also save your work reminder. Yeah. What up, Laura Charles Art? Heck yeah, Don Bluth. We ventured into our nightmares for all of you. All right. Why you no draw? There we go.
Just happy that I managed to do something because I was a little bit worried for a while there. It was not happening.
Yep. Yeah, I was worried when I switched over and I saw the mouse, and then I switched back and saw Anastasia. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Part of the warming up process. We'll go with that.
Yeah. Well, then honestly, I was just waiting to hear like the twisting cap of a wine bottle and like the glug glug sound says, Randall's all done for now. Now I'm just gonna commentate.
Go from artist to moderator in one pop of a cork. I had one of those moments over the weekend when I had gotten some wine, some sparkling wine, and there was one that I got that was a barefoot one that was peach. That I got it before, and I swear it was fine. But for whatever reason, this time I was like, oh, God, it's like pure sugar. No. I cannot. And so I was like, maybe it's just me. And my friend came over. We were playing Super Nintendo. Obviously, you know, you can't have Super Nintendo without a glass of bubbly.
Exactly.
And I was like, do you want to try this? And he tried it, and he's like, oh, ew, oh, no. Yeah, no, now I see why you're making that face every time you take a drink.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just because I have been drinking a lot of other wines for the past few years, but I struggle with any of the fruity wines anymore. I just they tend to lean a little bit too sweet for me. But I'm surprised with it being sparkling because usually the bubbles will kind of cut down on some of that sweetness. So I wonder if they changed their recipe or just had a different.
They must have, because I know, like when I got it before, I could knock back a bottle no problem, but this one I struggled and had to like split it across a couple of days.
I also like because this is also how my brain would work, because it was like, no, I'll choke it down. I won't enjoy it, but I'm not pouring it out.
Like, no, ma'am, I paid $13 for this bottle. I'm going to drink it. I may shudder every time I take a drink, but
it's getting drank.
Like that time I went to Dunkin' Donuts a few months back, and I got their cereal milk latte. And it was so sweet that I literally had to water it down to drink it.
Yeah, I forget which. I think it was the sugar plum one, which I kind of just like I was in the drive-thru and I just asked because I was curious. I'm like, oh no, it's really good and blah blah blah. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. And then I tried it. I was like, it's so sweet. But I definitely like made an entire pot of coffee to like just use it as my creamer for like the next, however many cups I drank. It's like I can't just drink this. It's too much.
Yeah.
Okay, well, something I have learned from tonight. Dogs are hard. I'm not good at them. Ace the Bat Dog lulled me into a false sense of confidence. It's like, he went so well. I could definitely draw this German Shepherd. I'm also now a little bit cranky with how much I like my second sketch more than I like my first.
Classic art move.
Yeah, big art moves. Get 75% done with a piece. I'm like, I don't like this. I'm gonna start again. Hey kids, that's why you should draw thumbnails sometimes.
I just need to sketch this out to figure this one thing out. Oh, this is way better.
Yeah, I think I did that. Well, no, I don't think. I know. I did that at a convention once, and I think the person came around, like, they had watched me start it or had looped back around when I was starting it, and then they came back around later. They're like, is that the same piece? I'm like, nope. I didn't. They're like, it looked fine. I'm like, I'm so happy you think that. I have folded it up and thrown it away. But thank you for your support. I could not give it to you. Oh my gosh. I can actually tell you exactly when that happened. That was at one of the last Twin Tiers Comic-Cons, because someone asked me to draw the chick from Portal. And the first one I did that was almost completely done, I hated. And so I got rid of it and I drew them another one because I couldn't. They're like, it was really fine. I'm like, nope, I can't. I cannot let this be out in the world. I'm so mad about it. Like, okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's always frustrating when you know that what you've done isn't up to snuff, but like untrained people, nope, they don't care.
And then part of my brain's like, you could just let it go. You could let it go. And I'm like, no. Nope, I can't. Because I swear, if they post this on social media and tag me, I will cry.
Just DM them. Can you please take this down?
Please. Yeah. Well, there was another one, and it was for, again, it's funny because it's for someone who comes to a lot of the shows, Jeff, and he had commissioned me to draw Doctor Strange at like one of the River Road shows way back in the day. And I did it, and I was okay with it, but it just doesn't, I don't know, it didn't jazz me the way I wanted it to. So I just flat out drew him a whole nother piece. He's like, I don't, you didn't have to. And I was like, no, I needed to do this. Like, I needed to make this right. You've given me money. You've bought my stuff. I need you to have a better Doctor Strange drawing from me. Like, okay. I mean, I'm going to take it. I'm like, yes, please. And I will never speak of this again. So that's some intense eye contact your character is making with me, Joey.
Silco was perfect for this project too, because he's got that nasty scar.
So can you, I'm assuming you are more familiar, can you refresh me with Secret of Nim? Because like I said, I remember being scared, but I don't really remember what the plot is.
Well, it starts off with Mrs. Brisby, and she's like, the farmer's coming through. My house is in the path. I've got to move my house. How am I going to do this? My kid's sick. I need help. So she goes and she talks to someone who's like, oh yeah, you got to go talk to the rats. The rats, they can help you with this.
Because she's a field mouse, right?
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
Okay. I just remember she's got her little shawl. Like,
Yep.
That's how you knew she was a nice, sweet character, because she had a little shawl.
And so she goes and talks to the rats. The rats are escaped lab rats who, during the course of their experimentations, developed sentience and like started to learn science and things. So they were vividly aware of how they were being tortured in the lab.
Yep, I'm with you.
Yep.
I'm with you on this pitch session that you've got going. So then lab rats.
The rats are going to help them or help Mrs. Brisby. But there's this whole other subplot about how the rats want to stop living as rats now because they've like evolved past that. And there is a sect within the rats that want to stay at the farm because they have everything they need right on hand. And then there is the sect of rats that want to go off and find their own place because they have moved past being rats. Like they can't live like that anymore. And that's where you get the villain of the movie and his plot to take over and move everybody. And there's basically a Deus Ex Machina at the end of the movie that solves all the problems.
As you do in children's movies,
Like there's this vicious conflict at the end and nothing's really resolved. Mrs. Brisby's house is sinking into the mud. There's just been this like overarching theme of like magic throughout, but it hasn't really been a big thing. And then at the end, like the necklace she had gotten from her husband is like a magic stone that fixes everything.
Oh, yep. Okay. Wacky plot device. Got it.
Yep. Yeah, just the evolution and finding your place in the world and normal stuff you'd find in a kid's movie.
Yeah, I just love the really, really intense, commentary on lab mice who have sentience. And
yeah, they wake up in the lab and they're it's not great. It's not a great situation.
Yeah. Somehow more horrifying than I even remembered.
Yeah, like that's the really scary stuff. Like, yeah, there's like the spider and the owl and that stuff going on. But then you're like, as you grow up and you look back at it, you're like, damn.
The humans are really the monsters. Oh no. They got us again.
Wink.
That's not a laughable thing. It just Oh. Okay. So Kia says it's super faithful to the book except about the magic stone.
Right, because I think in the book they actually just like use the science to solve everything at the end. But
I just love, and I'm sure that it was not this, but the idea of there being a magic stone, like it was so much like a get out of jail free. Like we've written ourselves into a corner with all of this, and they're like, but wait, magic stone, everything's fine.
Bing bong.
Bing bong. Kia says, I remember my English teacher being super mad when we got to the magic stone. We read the book in class and she showed us the Don Bluth movie. I'm like, Laura Charles also says, don't read The Fox and the Hound. You don't have to tell me that twice. Watching the movie was plenty for me. Yeah, to Ace Tigress, to your point earlier, I taught a whole library class about like it was called Read, Watch, Draw, where we'd read a book, then we watch the movie based on the book, and then we draw art based on both of them. And there were definitely some kids movies where I was like, oh, this was a book. No, we're not reading. No, we're not reading this. Like, we will not be reading Fox and the Hound or Old Yeller or Well, no. That's a no from me. How do I make you fluffy? Or Bambi. Yep. Okay, but I'm sorry. Or Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Yep, that had some really intense. I feel like it's funny. Again, not funny, but that's what I say because humor is how I cope with things. How we had all of these movies that I would say were like more visually scary, and that's how they taught us lessons. Whereas now you've got like Encanto, where it's like, no, don't worry, I'm going to damage you emotionally and make you confront all of this trauma, and that's how I'm going to teach you a lesson. I'm like, cool, that's great. I'm so happy with all of this. Yeah, Laura Charles, we were kind of talking about it earlier. Like, I want to be in the room where Disney was like, read those books and you're like, you know what this is? This is a children's movie. Oh yeah, gonna make them kids cry. It's gonna be great. Okay, so I totally lied and I totally broke our pact with what I said we were going to do. But maybe give it like 15 more minutes to do our wrap-ups and then we'll call it. Oh my gosh, Randall, look at your cute little nose. I love it so much. So, Mayor Squish, I have to ask you about the black that you used in your piece. Is that watercolor black? Because it is.
No, that is acrylic ink.
Okay, I was gonna say that is so saturated and beautiful. Looks awesome. Also, because I don't think I'm sorry, this is a very weird train of thought that's not connected to anything, because why would it be? Does anyone know that as the Land Before Time movies went on, did Sarah get any better, or did she say a jerk the whole time? Okay.
That was like her whole character.
I did not enjoy her. I'm like, why are you terrible? I want to say I only maybe made it through 3 of them. I don't think I watched more than that.
I mean, you only really needed to watch the first one.
But I need to know what happens. Yeah, Ace Tigers. That was something we were talking through earlier. Like Steven Spielberg was just like, "No, do more." And they're like, "But really, Steven? Like, you want us to keep making these? Are you sure?" So I have an opinion question. Do you guys feel that the direct-to-streaming market mirrors what the direct-to-DVD pipeline was, or do you think it's different?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's so hard to tell because like there's so much that pops on and off Netflix that I don't know. Like it's not as advertised, as much as like the old directed DVD and VHS was.
Right. And I was also thinking like so much of the time when you would rent a movie, if you wanted to watch the previews beforehand, that was going to tell you everything that was coming out in theaters or coming to VHS.
Yeah.
But I also feel like you are guaranteed more views in the direct to streaming in some way. I don't know. Like that I feel like that is not a kiss of death like direct to VHS or, direct to home video was.
Yeah, I think people are more receptive to it for sure. Like, time will tell, I suppose. Like, we've been getting really good direct to streaming content, I think. Mm-hmm. We'll see where it goes, right? And if people start cheaping out on it. But right now, it feels like they're very much trying to still compete with like cable.
Yes.
And the theaters and.
I think interesting too, because you're seeing, I feel like Netflix is acquiring not only not English as the first language movies, and that's live action and animated, but you're getting to see more variety than I think would be sustained by theaters. Like these are movies that would only ever open art house theaters. They wouldn't actually get a big theatrical release. So now they're completely available and advertised side by side with, bigger monetized movies. So interesting.
Now I hear that stupid voice in my head from back in the day being like, coming soon to home video.
Well, I think it was, I can't remember if you shared it with me or if I shared it with you, Randall, but it was the thing where it was talking about, it might have been a TikTok. I'm sad that I started. Anyways, it was talking about how we remember like the intros to those where it was like, yeah, Tinkerbell came out and like her wand broke and then she bopped the top of the castle and it was a whole thing. And this person went through like clip by clip and was like, here's the one where Tinkerbell flies into it and does the thing and it turns into this. Here's the one where she actually breaks her wand. Here's the thing. And they're like, it's kind of that Mandela effect where we all remember it, but it's kind of because it was an amalgamation of all of these different ones.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. I watched that
That's not what I wanted to know. Okay, cool. Yeah, Soapbox Glass saying in some Reddit threads he's been reading, people are complaining about the price hikes and they're citing specifically too much foreign content being added, and it's like, no, bro, like this is a good thing. This is.
Although, F you guys for not making another season of Glow.
Yeah. I was not happy with how they left it.
Yeah.
I struggled with parts of that last season, and I don't know if it's because they had to pivot and start adapting to not being picked up, but
Well, they had even started filming.
oh, that's right, they had.
Yeah. Like they were fully on board. They had been approved for a new season, and then when everything happened, they had to shut down production, and I think they were just like, it's going to be too problematic, because I think they had like at least 2 episodes already filmed, or like, you know, pieces of them.
Yeah.
So to try and like match that so far afterwards was going to be a nightmare. So it was just like, no, we're going to have to completely redo it.
You've got a lot of sympathy in the chat. Laura and Soapbox are sad about it. Yes, exactly that. I have never been a pro wrestling fan. I didn't watch the original Glow, but I really enjoyed the show. Especially, like, also, I mean, that first season is just, it's just fantastic top to bottom. They do such a great job with it. And I know, like, getting Allison Brie was going to end up being a challenge, but it's like, also, there's a whole bunch of characters that don't need her to still tell cool stories. Like, yeah. That's nothing against her. I love her character. I love what she brought to it. Just sigh. I did love me some Mark Maron in that. He's so saucy. But actual like character development, which is good. Yeah. I think it's. I was thinking about that. So, in talking about how much I enjoyed the first season, the very first episode feels so kind of disjointed from the rest of that first season, and it's very much, it feels like a pilot episode where it's like, nope, we need to hook these people, we need to get them in, you know, really get them, and they're gonna do this, and then we get to tell the story that we want. But it's just, it has just such a different feel from later episodes. Oh, hi. Hello. Well, that's usually what signals the end of the stream, is when I get a visitor. I need you to not jump and pull my headphones off my head. There you go.
I heard your game plan, Mom. I know what you said we were going to be doing by now.
Excuse me, it is snuggle time. All right. So, gotta find my thing. Hi. That was your tail right in my mouth. Cool. Mayor Squish, are you ready to show and tell first?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Do it, do it, do it. Look at him. He looks so cool.
Yeah.
Powerful eyebrows.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little glary. Oops. Yeah. I like it. I'm fairly happy with it. So
Yeah.
yay.
It
Yeah,
turned
that's
out great.
awesome.
I especially love the way that you did. What are you doing? I'm sorry. She jumped down from one side and then climbed up the other side. Hi. Yeah. Weirdo.
Brows are definitely a Don Bluth staple. Like you see a lot of power brows in his work.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love the way you did the highlight lines on his cape. Like
Yes.
just
Yeah.
those and the cut like that works so well.
Yeah, I have a real soft spot for. I know that you're technically not supposed to use like pure black on like clothing or whatever, but in this case, yeah, it looks really cool.
I love it. I support it. Okay, thank you. All right, and where can people find you and more of your cool art?
I am all across the internet at Mayor Squish. You can go to my card. That's card with 2 R's to find all my social media links. I have to update my my Nightbot command, but yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah. And your Etsy is up? Getting up?
Not yet, but it
Not
is
yet?
coming back soon.
Yeah. She talked to the higher ups, made it happen. I like it. All right. Joey, your
Hello.
turn. Hello.
Hey, look, I finished coloring it. I just didn't get to the shading.
I'm loving that the like diamond triangle cape cowl. I can't think of words. The color, good color, Joey. Good job. Yeah, no, that looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting the arcane reference there.
No, it's good. Like it somehow works really well for the characters. Like
Yep.
they fit. It feels like it fits. I like it.
Yeah, like when I saw the prompt there in the sign up sheets, I was like, I know what I'm doing. This is serendipitous.
It's such a good feeling. Yeah. A couple of things. Loot Risk says pure black works for older looking styles. Absolutely. And Laura had said, I think pure black works great as a graphic element. Absolutely. And Soapbox Scott says, Joey, this is dope. Yes, I agree. Yeah. Well, and hey, where can people find you?
You can find me everywhere on the internet and gaming at Slooty Mage. It's Leet Speak, so make sure you're putting the numbers in.
Yeah. And you've been doing more stuff with Hunter, right?
Yeah, we Hunter's an affiliate. We got him to dye his beard pink for that. Right now we're trying to get him to play Minecraft. He's never played before. And he claims that he would never play and he hates it. So that's the current challenge going on the Voice of Hunter stream. So I will continue to post it in the promotion section of the Discord so that we can force him to play Minecraft.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I know at least 2 people in chat who would be for that. So yeah, I like it. All right, Randall. Yeah, little face.
Yeah.
Face.
So almost got there. Just got to finish her hat and block everything else in. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out.
No, it's really good. It definitely, and it's fun because I feel like you walked a really beautiful line between your style and Anastasia's style. Like, no, that's very cool. I dig it.
Yay.
Yes,
I have to give them props for the color choices. When I was looking at this outfit, I was like, they did a really good job with picking like tones that work really well together.
Yeah, because you figure like she's got reddish brown hair and the greenish olive coat, and I was like, it's red and green straight up, but it works so well. Yeah, Kia says her squint is spot on, and Loot Risk loves this. Says you killed it, and I hope you finish the hat. Yes.
Oh, thank you. I will.
No, don't worry. We will peer pressure him into finishing it so that we can post it. Actually, go back. All right, and where can people find you? Oh, I was gonna try and find your art station, then I failed. But
that's okay. Well, my art station is the same as my Tumblr. It's RW Art, and Instagram is still Randy Limoges. I might change that at some point or start just a pure art Instagram. We'll see.
Yay! But yeah, also anything we can update our link tree for any of the Doodle Crew people, or if anyone in chat ever has any questions about where to find artists, always hit us up at Doodle Crew Draw across the internet, because we would love to connect you with the artists that you like. Yeah. All right. So here's my second piece. Because I hated my first one. But I really, really wanted to make Charlie the German Shepherd look a lot cuter. Take the colors away. So I really like my sketch. I'm really happy with my sketch. I think that turned out great. But this was my first one. This is the reference photo I was using. Again, I was trying to make it look more my style. And I don't know. He just creeps me out so much. I wanted to make it better. So, yeah. You get good. But yeah, I think it was good. The first one's not bad, but I think I definitely like the second one more. So we'll see what I end up finishing. And
yeah, she's super cute in both of them.
Yeah, well, and I mean, shock to no one. Like,
nice, Swan, you nailed the human character.
Nailed the cute girl character? Yeah. Shock. Yeah. Here's me trying to branch out. What did I do? Drew more girls. Good job. Hey, if you want to see me draw more girls, follow me across the internet. That's Swan named Emily. I draw a lot of them because it's what I love to draw. Also, thank you, Laura. Yeah. So this was super fun. Thank you so much for everyone in chat hanging out with us, enjoying this wonderful down the rabbit hole, the creepy rat hole, I think, of Nightmare Fuel.
Oh, I don't want to hear those words ever again.
Yeah, so if you enjoyed this Don Bluth episode, let us know. Originally we were supposed to have Vic on this episode, so I know they would like to come back and do this, so we might bring this one back. Because it is such a different style from what we usually do. But yeah, if you ever have any suggestions, want to see other stuff for us to draw, hit us up, like I said, at Doodle Crew Draw. And if not, then we will see you all on the next one. We love you. Goodbye.